Welcome to Herron Solutions Podcast, Ep.3. I'm Samantha, and this is Joshua. Today we have some special guests, Jerry and Michelle Herron.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
So we wanted you here on the podcast today because we have some questions for you that I'm sure a lot of people have the same question is with this organization of Herron Solutions, what inspired you to start this journey, and how did this journey begin?
You want to start? You want me to start?
Where to start?
I think first and foremost, the last thing we want to do is come and talk about ourselves, because it's really not about us. It's not about me. It's not about Michelle. But what it is about helping people, loving on people, showing people that they do have value and that they do have worth, and that there is a different way to life than what they know at the exact moment they're in this present moment. And so the last thing I want to do is talk so much about myself, because it's really, like I said, it's really not about me. It's about so many other things. It's so much bigger than me and my wife and this organization. It's so much bigger.
So it started, I want to say, I guess it's always been part of who we are, but I think started back in 2009. We have been healed from substances since 2009. We'll give you a whole testimony on that on a different day. But the moment we were healed, I think just in our heart, we felt that need to go out and serve. And so in 2009, it started where Jerry and I became chaplains, and we had no clue what we were doing at that time and just knew that we wanted to help. So we started going into the jails, doing some just street ministry, needle exchange out of the back of my car, and just looking for ways to help the community however we could.
I think from my perspective, I think that is pretty much what happened. Is we are in our addictions, and God pulls us out. We have this spiritual awakening that God reveals to us, reveals to me in any way, reveals to me what kind of man I am, what kind of husband I am to my wife, and what kind of father I am to my children. Because a lot of times we don't realize the impact that we have on other people, both positive and negative. So if we are, at that moment in my life, I was having a negative impact on my children and those people around me that were watching me live my life. And I was shown that. God revealed that to me. And I didn't like that. I didn't like the way I was living my life. And He showed me a different way. He showed me that I could be more of a positive role model, a more of a positive influence on other people's lives. And at that point in my life is when everything changed. That's when everything changed, and I believe that's when Herron Solutions started.
What made you want to go to school to do the things that you do?
I never wanted to go to school. That was not in my plan. We had started helping in the community, and a lot of there were a lot of needs. There still are a lot of needs, but back then there was a lot of needs, and a lot of people were not able to come to what we started. It was called the house. We just decided we're going to rent this house. We would do free yard sales on Fridays. We had people donating food. We were just, again, trying to give back to our community however we could. We started with some addiction classes, parenting classes, marriage classes, those types of things that we were doing in the jail, and we wanted a place for them to come out to do. So we rented this little house and started having some classes and stuff there. And then there came to a point where a lot of the people weren't able to come or get credit coming to us because we were just chaplains. So God just put on my heart, like, if you do this, if you go back to school to get these letters that you need, we'll be able to help more people. So I went kicking and screaming and kicking and screaming all the way through, because school's never been for me. I'm not one to ever sugarcoat my past or pretend I'm somebody I'm not, but school was not my thing. I probably was out of school more days than I was in school, but that's a whole nother story. So going back to school was not my plan. It was definitely, God put it on my heart and said, if you do this, we'll be able to help more people. And that's where I made the decision to move forward with schooling so that I could be able to step into that.
I've noticed that there's a common thread between both of what you two have said so far, which is the adopting of responsibility. Jerry had mentioned that he saw, it was revealed to him in his life that he needed to change some behaviors, and he took responsibility and changed those behaviors. And you realized at a point that you needed to get back into school, so you took the responsibility and went back to school. What role do you think responsibility plays in your lives today?
I think for me, being a responsible person in my life means that I am constantly holding myself accountable.
Yes.
Accountable for my actions, my decisions, my behaviors, of course. But even back in the day when I wasn't holding myself accountable, I was at a point in my life where I felt that I guess I wasn't going in the right direction, I should say. So I was not taking inventory of my life every day.
Okay.
Every day, taking that inventory. What did I do today? Did I make a difference today? Did I set a better example today? Was I a better husband? Was I a better father to my kids, a son to my parents, a sibling? Was I a better friend? I think it's just taking that inventory. I believe that every human out there has that in them. I believe that we can be better people, and we can make better choices. And the hope that I have for this podcast is someone that I hope that someone does see this and sees not only us, but so many other people that we'll have on this podcast, that, they'll be scrolling through that, at some point maybe in the night or in the daytime, and they see something and they do see a hope in this podcast. I know I'm going off a little subject, but that is the hope for this podcast. I wanted to say it earlier, but yes, taking that self-inventory. And that was something I didn't do when I was younger. When I was in my addiction, I did not do that daily. So my life started to spin, a lot of control, until I did have that spiritual awakening. And at that point in my life, that is when I was shown, like I said earlier, I was shown that what kind of man I was. That's when the self-evaluation in my life occurred. And I realized, man, I am so self-centered. I am so conceited. I'm so selfish for living the way that I've been living. And at that point in my life, I could not stop saying that I was sorry for living like that. And I said, no more. No more. So every day since then, it's been 16 years. Every day when I go to bed at night, every day when I wake up, I want to be the best version that I can be. I want to be, Jerry 2.0 or whatever. But sometimes it doesn't happen because I'm only human. I do make mistakes. I do have flaws. Sometimes I do get mad. Sometimes I get, irritated. But I think sometimes we learn from those as well. We learn from, those things in our life where I am holding myself accountable. But sometimes there are things that are out of your control. But I believe those are there to also teach you.
So I know you started with the question about how did Herron Solutions start. So it started way back when, in 2009. Went back to school and had to put the ministry on hold because we were both working full time. I thought care coordination was my dream job, and that's what I was doing for about 4 years. But still, I think Jerry and I always still had that heart to continue helping. I think that's just been ingrained in us forever. So we'd help however we could, whenever we could. Before 2009, my helping was kind of selfish. It was, sometimes I would help, but there was conditions. So not like, what can you do for me? But if I helped you and you burned me, we were done. BC, that was BC. After 2009, that didn't matter anymore. Cherry and I surrendered our lives to the Lord in 2009, and that changed everything. So those BC days were gone. Now,
Can you clarify for us what BC means?
that means before Christ in our
Okay.
life. And I do want to put a disclaimer in, is that Herron Solutions is not a faith-based agency, but without God being the head of this company, we would not be anywhere that we're at today, because it's He who put that in us. Otherwise, we would still be those selfish people we used to be and wouldn't be able to continue to do what He allows us to do and be a part of. So when I say BC, I know many people that are out there and may be listening right now, they may remember Michelle BC. And Michelle BC she wasn't very good at all. I was ugly. I was selfish. I was hateful. Just an awful, ugly person. So when I say BC, that's what I mean. After I surrendered, I didn't care if I did something for you and you burned me. Doesn't bother me, because now I know that whatever is put on my heart to do, I do it, and it's not of me, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Some people say, well, I don't give money, to people, or I don't do this for people. But I feel if God puts it on your heart, you have to do those things. But it doesn't bother me now like it used to. If, somebody did something negative to me, I would tend to, how would you say? I guess revenge and certain things I thought was mine, and now those things don't bother me anymore. I forgot the question.
I would like to fast forward just a little bit, if that's okay. I know we have plenty of time to jump back and forth. We can try time travel here. But I remember a time where you were done with school and you had your office, and it was just an office for you. Can you paint that picture for our audience? It's an
Yes,
amazing
yes.
picture.
A little bit of squirreling there, sorry. So I went to school, got all the school stuff done, went on to do care coordination, and just thought I'd start doing some counseling, some therapy, one-on-one, my little office that Jerry fixed up for me, and thought that that was going to be how I could help. Because there were a lot of needs. A lot of the people that I was meeting with on a day-to-day, a lot of them didn't have anybody to talk to. They didn't have support. They didn't have family members to talk to. So I thought I can have a few therapy sessions a week and be able to help a couple days a week. And so I started doing that. And that's when the actual Herron Solutions started, because actually a few years prior to that, I had got an LLC, Herron Solutions LLC, because it was put on my heart, just do this, and I didn't know why I was doing that. But then I started doing the therapy and got filled up right away, just because of the needs of so many, our heart still for people with substance abuse, and just starting to see those needs. So then I brought on a friend of mine as a therapist, and then before you know it, she started getting full, so then we had to bring on somebody else. There was about 3, and then we started hearing about more needs, because a lot of these people, they didn't just need to talk to somebody, they needed support work. Well, we didn't know what was support work back then, but they needed people to help them fill out applications and read their mail with them, and help them go back to school, all kinds of things. I didn't know what support work was at that time. So started exploring that, and then decided to look more into that. Before you know it, we're deep in all this paperwork, and thank God my family just supports every crazy endeavor that comes up, and just talk to them and let them know where we thought this was going. And so we started doing the paperwork, got the Behavioral Health Agency 432, started bringing on CSWs, and just started getting out into the community again every time, with everything being so difficult and so much work that was going into it, but continuing to hear, if you do this, we'll be able to help more people. If you do this, we'll be able to help more people. So that's what continues to fuel me, and so bringing those ideas up and just having the support from my family is just helps me to be able to do what I love to do.
Outstanding. I love it. Can you tell us, what is the vision of Herron Solutions?
I'll let you take that question. Well, I would like to back it up just a little more on the last question.
Absolutely.
Just a little bit about, from my perspective on Herron Solutions and how it came to be. Like Michelle said earlier, we were saved. We came to Christ, and from that point on, we started going into the jails. We started, talking with, just dealing with so many different things. We became chaplains, like she said. So we started dealing with, marriage issues, and we started going into the jails and talking to people out in the streets, and just talking with just so many different people, and starting to work with different agencies. And like she said, we opened up this house, and I remember a time when we started to do this Friday night Bible study. It was a Friday night addictions Bible study. And I think like the first month, nobody came. So God had put it on my heart to start this thing on Friday nights, and nobody came. So I'm questioning. I'm like, are you sure? This is what you want me to do? And 4 weeks go by and nobody is showing up, and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be present. And then by the time we ended up leaving and closing the house, which was like 2 years later, I mean, that room was like packed to the brim. I mean, there was people sitting all around, sitting on the floor. It was just an amazing time of not only worship, but amazing time of just coming together and talking about addiction and how scriptures view addiction. Just amazing. And from there, it just continued to move, and we could see, our journey just up until this point as where we're at today. And for the vision, I'll let Michelle tell you guys about the vision.
None of this was our plan. Nothing has ever been our plan. We just get to be here. We get to experience it. We get to walk it. We get to be a part of so many people's lives. And the vision that I have is that we will be able to continue to see the gaps, fill the gaps. I talk about this all the time, and we often joke that it's a pyramid scheme.
Yes.
And people ask us, what are we doing? And I do feel it is a pyramid scheme, and not in a negative sense, as we used to hear about pyramid schemes before. But our goal when we started, our goal was one. If we could help one person, everything that we do would be worth it. And here we are, fast forward, 16 years later, and thank God there's been several ones. And so when I talk about the pyramid scheme, I talk about us being able to help one person, and then that person getting better, and then they can go help one person, and that person can go help one person. And before you know it, change is happening in our communities, in our state, in our nation, in our world, and so we're always looking for that one person. My vision is that of course, I would love to say, we find a cure for this addiction or these addictions. That would be the ultimate, if I had a magic wand and could do that. But the vision is just to keep walking alongside people in their difficult times and being able to show that hope that Jerry was talking about, because there was a time in our life when we didn't have hope, just going through the day-to-day thinking, this is what we're always going to do. Sometimes going through the days where you're just going through the motions and not getting to really live life. And so now we know what it is to live life sober, to not need those substances. And so being able to give that hope to others. And I say that blessings are addicting. And for me, blessings are seeing people's lives changed, seeing families put back together, seeing people look and feel whole again, seeing people just seeing that they know that they have value and they have worth because they do. And so that gets addicting. It really does. And so I'm often, what's the word? I don't know what the word is, but I work a lot. I'm a workaholic. That's my addiction right now, probably. I'm trying to get better. I'm not in recovery in that area by no means, but I justify it all the time that it's not work because I love what I do. I don't know if that'll ever change. I try to put some balance in it. I try to think I'm getting a little bit better at times, but I do. I love what I do because I get to do this. I get to walk alongside of people and see that change happening. So my vision for Herron Solutions is to just be bound to the path that's ahead of us and whatever we're supposed to be doing for whoever we're supposed to be doing that for and with. And, if it's taking over New Mexico to bring hope in every city, then we'll do it. If we have the team, we have an amazing team behind us. Like Jerry said, this is not Jerry and Michelle. This has nothing to do with us. But we have this amazing team that stands with us, that has these hearts to love people and to show them that there is a different way, and that we can make those choices to live and to love life, because what more is there? What more is there out there but to just help and care and serve? Because that's where, when we take our eyes off of ourselves and we start serving people, that's when we find that purpose. That's when you feel that wholeness. And that's what I wish everybody could feel and experience, because once you feel that, by taking your eyes off of yourself and putting it on others, once you feel it, it's addicting. It really is. So we want to continue to help however we can, whatever that looks like. Right now, again, I never thought we'd move. I would have, other than that little office, but we are in Socorro. We have the office there. We have some projects going on there. We have Belen, couple offices here. We have one in Albuquerque. We are starting this drop-in center, which is going to be able to serve our community in a different capacity. And that's where you guys come in. And I think we're going to be able to, again, if we can find that one, so that they can go bring that other one and give hope to that other one. And like with the drop-in center, the way that is starting is just, again, still continuing to see needs in our community. So as we see the need, we hear about the need. If we're able to meet that need and have the capacity to do it and do it well, we're going to do that in wherever we're at. So we're going to continue to walk in it. I don't know what it looks like, but I just always want to be ready for whatever is put in front of us that we're supposed to be doing. But helping is 100% what we will continue to do as long as we're able to do that.
So I know Herron Solutions has a logo, the love, compassion, and respect, and it's kind of self-explanatory, but what does love, compassion, and respect mean to you guys?
I think for me, I think it's an honor, a privilege, and a blessing it is to love on people. Because a lot of times when we meet a lot of these people, sometimes you're meeting them in their worst position in their life. Sometimes they're at the very bottom, and they don't know which way to go. And if you can be that kind, gentle, example or person in their life to come on and love on these individuals, what a change to show them that, hey, someone actually cares, that they're not just a label, but they're an actual human, they're an actual person. They actually have a story. They actually have a life. They might be somebody's son or daughter or dad or grandfather or something. But to be able to come along somebody and help them. And that's a testament to our team. Yes. Our team, one time we had someone pull me and Michelle to the side, and they were just dumbfounded they were asking us, like, your team, I mean, you hire like addicts, you hire alcoholics and felons, and we're like, yes. I mean,
Former
yeah,
alcoholics.
they're all former, addicts, alcoholics, and felons. But yes, because who better to walk along some of these individuals than someone who's been in it? That's someone that can kind of come along some and just love on these individuals. And our team has tons of love to show. And these individuals that come to us, in my case, I always want to represent what I believe, and that's Christ in my life. And Christ says, just come to me, follow me, follow me. That's what he says. He doesn't say, go and get yourself cleaned up. He doesn't say, come to me sober. He just says, come to me, let me do the work. So if I can show that love, if he showed that love to me, why can't I show that love to someone else? Why can't I love on them the way Christ loves me? And that's where I get that from. And earlier on in my journey, it wasn't like that, but now it's like that. So it is an honor and a privilege and a blessing just to come alongside these individuals and just, we get to love on these people. We get to love them. We get to do this job. It's not something that, that we complain about, our whole team. We don't have no complainers on our team. Everyone is willing to step in at any moment and jump on board, or if there's a need or something's got to happen in some of these individuals' lives, they're ready to pounce and get the job done. It's all about love, and it's all about showing these guys direction and support and structure. And that's the love part, I think.
Compassion, love, and respect. We joke about it, and we say, if you don't have it, get the heck out. Get the heck out, because we don't want to be like everybody else. The world gives that enough to people. And so we do want to be different. So if you are a person that's going to come on our team and you do not have that, well, you probably wouldn't have been able to come onto the team if you didn't have that. But every single person on our team has compassion, love, and respect for who they work with. And not just on the team with each other, but with the people we get to work with. And we say that a lot. We get to do this job. It's job. Like, this is our job. We get to do this. This is not something we have to do, but it is an honor. It is a privilege to be able to walk alongside people in, like Jerry said, some of their darkest times. And so that compassion, love, and respect, it's part of who we are. It's part of what we do on a day-to-day. And we expect that. We expect that from every single person on our team. Can you tell us, as you all have been with us for a couple years now, you started early on. I think we started Herron Solutions. We didn't start. We got to come alongside and be a part of Herron Solutions October 2022. So we will be going into our third year this October. And again, there was a time we never expected to have a team like we have. I think we have, 28, 30 people now. There was a time where we had no offices. I worked out of our cars for a time, worked out of wherever we could just to be able to help. As you guys have been with us for these past 2 years, what's different in Herron Solutions than you've seen or felt anywhere else?
Definitely, because I do come from a background of substance abuse, And whenever I came on to Herron Solutions, there was no judgment from my past. The love that Herron Solutions, you guys have given me, I feel like that's the huge difference. Not looking down on someone that is struggling with addiction or that is unhoused, or, you guys always have that hand to lift somebody up. And I feel like that's what attracted me. And it's just amazing to witness and to be a part of this team. What about you, Joshua?
How much time do we have? I'm going to sit up real fast. Since working at Herron Solutions, and I'm a little bit biased, because I work here, but working here, I've learned so much. I came here for a job, and it's been so much more. It's grown me as a person, it's grown me as a husband, it's grown me as a son, and it's grown me as a person that can support people productively. I've learned exactly what judgment looks like when you go places with clients. I've learned exactly what non-judgment looks like because I've experienced it and felt it firsthand here. So I know how to give it to others. I'm going to promote this one and say what we do is special and unique. We see individuals for who they are. We don't see their behaviors or their past wrongs or misconceptions about who they are based upon where they've been and where they've lived or who they've wronged or who they've done right by, how much drugs they had, what drugs they didn't have. We don't see that. We see the person, the potential, the untapped potential, the ability to be a good son, like you said, Jerry, a good father, a good mother, whatever you may be. And then being able to have this environment and this space to uncover those things and then share these things back with our clients and show them the truth about who they really are. Not what people tell them they are, but who they really are. Like I said, you are a good son. You're full of potential. Some struggle you went through does not define you. That's not who you are. You're not broken. You're not powerless. Your life is not unmanageable, or you wouldn't be here. And that's the gift. That's the difference that I've been able to experience and learn and give to other people like me. And I really like the pyramid scheme because we know what a pyramid scheme is really something negative. But in this painting, it's not. It's the whole idea of like we said earlier, the adoption of responsibility. Jerry saw some things, was given some insight, some revelations, and he adopted the responsibility and fixed it. And so you did the same. And so by you guys adopting those responsibilities and taking control of them and living up to them, Herron Solutions was born. And with Herron Solutions being born, then myself and Samantha were given an opportunity to adopt responsibility. And then what we do is born. And then we're able to reach out with the strength we've found after you found your strength. And we can come alongside other people and help them find their strength. And together we're all holding hands, pulling each other forward out of the muck and the mire. So I could keep going on, but this is what makes Herron Solutions unique. And this is why I stay here, and this is why I'm going nowhere. And that's what I've learned in 2 years.
Do you remember a time when you thought you were getting fired at Herron Solutions?
Yes, I do. I remember that time very well. One thing I do know is
It's not easy.
it's not easy if you follow your path and follow your purpose. That path is not going to be easy. But we all know nothing worth having is found or gotten easy. Nothing.
So tell us about the time that you thought you were getting fired.
Into great detail. I don't quite remember what was going on in my life at the time. I know there were some negative influences And I was really upset and fired up about it. And I think I'd been working with Herron Solutions maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a month. I think maybe something like that. And so I came back to Michelle, and I was complaining about something. And you had told me, well, this is what's going to happen. And if you can't handle that, then go back to your old life where it's easy. Because we know when you're doing less than the right thing, when you're outside your purpose, life is easy. No problem. But when you're living to your purpose, life is good when you're in your purpose, but also there's going to be some serious bumps, there's going to be some friction, there's going to be some attacks, there's going to be all those things that come from being in your purpose. Because being in your purpose, in my sense, in my idea, means you're doing what you find to be meaningful, not what makes you happy, happy, that fluffy, eating cake all the time and whatever that may look like. But you're finding something meaningful in your life and you're tending to it. And in my eyes, that means you're successful. And if you're successful, success equals opposition. You can't be successful without opposition. And so I think that's what Michelle was giving to me. Like, you can continue to be successful and learn to handle this opposition, or you can take your other option. And that's been about 2 years. And so obviously I stayed within my meaning, and obviously I've learned to see opposition as a road sign towards success. I know the more opposition that's coming, the more successful I'm going to be, or I'm going to have more success, or I'm going to be given more success. That's how I should put it. Because just like you guys, I can't sit here and say, look at me, look what I've done. I've done all this by my own strength. I mean, any arrogant person can say that, but the truth be told, that's not what it is. So yeah. How about you, Samantha? How about your struggles or your experiences?
So before I started working with Herron Solutions, I waitressed my whole life. I never really did anything besides waitress or in the food industry. So this was all new to me. I guess I've always helped people. I've always been that helping hand, even like in my addiction, even if it wasn't like helping in a positive way. Like, I was always there loving and having like compassion for my friends or our family, always trying to lift them up. But then when this became my job, even though it doesn't feel like a job, it's just like, so, I don't know, it's just crazy to be able to do this type of work and love what you do. Because when I waitressed, I mean, that was just a job. I would complain the whole time, or, and now like I get to be able to walk alongside people that are just like me and help them get out of their addiction. And I don't even know, like, it's just kind of sometimes makes me speechless, like the way I feel. And I don't want to cry because I'm a crybaby, but I love what I do, and I want to continue to do what I do and grow in this company and grow people, help support people, and help people find their purpose. And it's just been such a blessing. But I have a question for you, Joshua.
Okay.
Tell us about this drop-in center. I know this has been on your heart. Can you explain to people what the drop-in center is that may not know?
I have been dreaming about this for a long time. What I see, what I envision is this statement: you are perfectly equipped to serve the person you once were. And it's been ringing in my head for the longest time. And so what I feel and what I know is that pure led, pure ran. And I take nothing away from clinicians, counselors, therapists. I take nothing away from them. They're very equipped to do what they do. But in the beginning, we provide as CPSWs, as people with lived experience, we provide a safe place free from isolation. If you know that I used to use substances and I was unhoused and lived in a tent behind a Walmart, chances are anything you could possibly have to say to me, I'll have no judgment over it. I'm not going to look at you funny. You're not going to feel ashamed. You're not going to feel like you need to hide this fact from me because we're the same person. And it falls back on what we discussed earlier. If we have this safe space for people to come in and maybe charge their cell phone, maybe grab something to eat, a cup of coffee. Everybody has something to recover from. Maybe drugs, maybe mental health issues, maybe abusive relationships. There's just so many things to list that we can't sit here and list them all. But I do know change is inevitable. And if there's a safe place to come in and fall into that stage of contemplation, sitting in this drop-in center, what better place to start thinking about your behavior? What better place to sit and look, hey, look at Samantha. I want what she has. And it's possible because she used to be me. And if we can do this and grow and grow and grow, that would be the ultimate pyramid scheme. Right? You can come in, you can have some coffee. We can talk about things. We can talk about the sky. We can talk about the weather. If you're interested, we could talk about addiction. You don't have to change anything today, but we can discuss it. Oh, you have more interest in it? Well, hey, there's a group every Tuesday and Thursday. We can talk to you about addiction, what it looks like, and what happens inside you and around you, and your feelings and your thoughts. And we can talk about how do you get help to get out of your addiction. And then that person, if they're successful at that time, then they can do the same thing to the next person, and the next person, and the next person. Just like Michelle said, who knows what's going to happen from there, but you can have this great team of people that found themselves or that was given that gift of themselves back to them, where they don't see themselves as dirty. And I'm using these words that I never really use, but it's just words we hear in the community when we talk about people that are considered to be in active addiction or unhoused or what have you, the dirty, homeless, panhandling, all those ugly statements we say. Just that one comes in and figures these things out. Then that one can see the other one and the other one and the other one and the other one. And then maybe even if we reach people that aren't involved in active addiction at all, we can change their misconception. Their faulty thinking of seeing the person panhandling in front of Walmart or Supermart or wherever it may be, change their idea where they don't see this person as dirty, addict, homeless. They see this person as potential, valued, let's support. And so I see this drop-in center being a place just like that for people needing to recover from being unhoused, people needing to recover from mediocrity. So, you want to go to school? Oh, you don't have a GED? We can help you with that. You want to sit and talk? We can help you with that. Whatever you want support with, we can support you with that. And I see this reaching so many people in so many different ways that I could talk about this all week.
And so that's going to start at 610 Becker Avenue in Belen.
Yes, August 16th is open house.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll be opening August 18th will be our open date, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And we're going to pilot it here. We're going to start it here and see how it goes. And then as we get the details down, we may be moving into other areas in the state as we put the model together allow the model to be put together, and we get to learn what that looks like. Healing, hope. That's what I hear as I hear you talk about that. Just more healing, more hope, support from just walking in those doors. And when you're talking, it reminded me of back at the house in 2009, 2010, around there, I think all the way until 2011. People would walk in with their heads down. They would walk in heavy. And when they would leave through those doors, their heads were up. They had a smile on their face, and we used to joke because that house we used to be at, things used to go on at that house prior to us being there. People were filled with other things there. And when we got to spend that time with them and give them hope, they were leaving. They were leaving with those smiles because they now had hope. And change was happening, and change is still happening. And we are living proof. We're all living proof of that change. And we think, and the reason we do this is because we know if God can change us, if we could be changed, anybody can be changed. There's nothing different in any of us than anybody else out there. And so my hope for everybody is that they would know that they're valued, that they're loved, and that they mean something, because they do. They mean something. And in every interaction that I have, every single day, I want people to know that they are valued, that they mean something, and that there is a plan and a purpose for their life. So every day, that's every interaction, every person that I meet, I want them to know that they matter. What's next? What's next? We got drop-in centers. We got more offices.
Actually, another question for you. What does Herron Solutions consist of right now? What services are offered by Herron Solutions?
Where we were at today, so right now in Socorro, we have some individual counseling going on, some therapy that goes on in Socorro. They're at 1445, do some commercial, 1445 Northwest Frontage Road. There in Socorro, we have a few therapists there. We have 2 offices here in Belen. One does therapy, individual. We have IOP for adults right now. We have support work. We also have support work going on in Socorro, which is the community support worker services, comprehensive community support services, where we're able to help clients with all kinds of things, independent and community living, recreation, socialization, education, and employment. And then in Belen, we have that as well. We're going to have the drop-in center in Belen. And then in Albuquerque on Alameda, we have our IOP, we have therapy, we have community support services there as well. So we're also able to cover the whole state with the individual therapy because we do that through telehealth as well. We have some amazing therapists, CPSWs, CSWs. We also have some transitional living centers for men in Belen. We have 2 homes right now, and then we will be opening a women's home October 1st. And I have some wonderful ladies that are going to be heading that project up. It's really on their heart to do that. And then in Albuquerque, we partner with 2 men's homes. So we have the opportunity to do that as well. So right now, those are the areas we've been called to. That's what we're working on. And we are just going to continue to follow the path that's put before us.
Sounds amazing. Sounds like there's a whole lot going on.
Yes.